which is fine. It keeps things fresh, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh my goodness, he actually pointed today.
I've
The
done it the
world
last
is
3
ending.
times. This is bullshit.
Okay, so
I will not stand for this attack on my character.
I don't actually have anything to attack your character with. I was gonna say something about your shiny head and reflecting, but that doesn't work.
It's chromed
So.
on me.
Well, it's getting hairy in the back, so it's not as shiny as usual.
I'm trying to move away from my Professor Xavier stage in life.
Oh, okay. Why would you want to do that? Professor X is awesome.
Yeah, but I can't actually read minds like Professor X.
That's true.
Mm.
That's probably a good thing.
It sets up people for false expectations.
Exactly. They think, oh, he's going to know what I'm thinking.
No, you won't.
But, I mean, if you go the Sookie Stackhouse way of reading minds, then it's just constantly overflowing into your brain, and she goes crazy.
Yeah, I stopped watching True Blood before she became psychic, so...
She was psychic from the beginning. That's the only thing that she had going for her.
Was that what oh, yeah, you're right. I don't even remember. It's been so long since I've seen the damn show.
I stopped
Well, that's also
watching
the
True Blood forever. I only know that Anna Paquin's in it. Is that about it?
You get to see her boobs.
Yeah. She takes her top off a lot.
Okay. Boobs are right. No, don't get me. Boobs are beautiful. Boobs are nice. Boobs. I mean, but you know, she doesn't have a nice rear end. So I'm like, you know. I mean, it's nice.
Grassman is all about the booty.
Oh, I'm an ass man. I'm the ass man. The Grassman's an ass man. I'd like to put that out
He's
there.
coming for that booty.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Can't be shy
booty,
about
I
that.
totally fell down on mine in front of my English professor this week. Good times. So, I was walking and talking with one of my classmates, and I'm on my class is up on the 3rd floor, and I had taken like a turn a little hard, I guess, because I ran into the wall first.
Oh.
Like I just kind of clipped it. I do this all the time because I have like no sense of depth, so I just kind of clip things a lot as I walk. I've just come to terms with it. It just happens. But I clipped it a little hard, I guess, because I carry an 85-pound bag on my back. So I kind of like did this like half cartwheel, half somersault going down the stairs, and I landed on my feet, and I, oppa, jump up, and my professor's like, I'm actually impressed. But I didn't carry it well because then I actually did slide down the next set of stairs. I'm like, really? All right, well.
So what I'm hearing here is the whole multitasking thing, not easy for you.
No. Well, like, no.
Were you chewing gum also?
I was not chewing gum today. I was very proud of myself.
I
just, somebody's making popcorn in my house. It smells good.
I want popcorn.
For a minute there, it sounded like a dolphin call. It was like in the background. I'm like, what the hell is that noise? Maybe that's over here.
It could be me laughing, or it could be that dolphin that's behind you currently.
There's a dolphin? I want a dolphin. I was hoping there's one behind me too.
Yeah.
So there was there's a post on Reddit on evil things you could do to your friends. You know that program on for smartphones called Snapchat? Some people have it, some people don't. Well, on Snapchat, you can't actually save the pictures you take, so something you can do to your friends to freak them out is, what is that behind you? And they freak out. It's funny. I mean...
I didn't know people use Snapchat for anything besides sending nudes, to be honest.
I send really random pictures to people. There's a guy who was on the C2E2 crew that him and we basically just send pictures of, like, things that nobody else would find funny. Except for, like... Or he found a Thomas...
You should send him a copy of our show, then.
I know, right? He found a Thomas the Tank Engine, but it had a hood over his face. So there was that. I thought that was hysterical, but Anyways, yeah, let's start the show and have me stop rambling. That'd be great.
Oh, here I was hoping to keep you rambling. So,
I hate you.
Then Snaki told me I had to. Welcome everyone to episode 123 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on Sunday, September 7th, 2014. As you can tell, you've got myself, Chris, and Naki here, and you might not have heard Anthony's voice. That's because he's at Salt Lake Comic Con. He got a new tattoo. He's on his way back now. I'm sure we'll get an update next week, but don't worry. We have the draftsman himself in the chat room, Enrique, joining us today. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. That was totally not set up, and that's kind of a cold open. Awesome. Actually, you know what? I'm really glad. I'm really sad that I missed Pac-Man. I actually want to know if he is out there dispensing karmic justice like he wants to.
He probably is.
Anthony's not known for his quietness.
I did see the pictures, and like he said, he is rocking the mohawk again this week. That dude can pull a mohawk off really well.
He's actually kind of terrifying.
He's terrifying, huh?
Anthony is terrifying. In a good way. You know, terrifying nonetheless.
I think it's something kind of amazing about comic book guys. You know, we go from being very meek, nice and round, kind of like teddy bear people, you know, kind of like Chris over here, you know, like they're inoffensive. They're like, oh, good, look, he looks like a nice, upstanding young man, and you know, and then you have the other guy at the other end of the spectrum. You have people like Pac-Man and people like my brother and people that look just slightly criminal, and you're like, I don't know, you know, it's like, yes, I do believe that comic books are contributing to the, you know, the decay of society. That guy has a sword. I'm like, but he knows how to use it, man. He does? How do you know that? Well, he's my brother. You don't see the resemblance?
To be fair, you and your brother don't look exactly alike.
No, I know, but we look similar-ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
I'm still going to beat him up. Just because it's fun.
Why are you going to beat him up? Please enlighten us.
Because it's fun. I had Draftsman's brother as one of my poor little lackeys when I was managing theaters. And the poor guy could not get a break from me. I just laid into him constantly because he would run away. And then I'm like, well, why would you run away? That just makes it worse.
Gets distracted by shiny stuff and then just follows it.
He does. He's easily distracted, which makes my life difficult when I'm trying to tell him to do something. So I would just lay into him. He'd be like, okay, and then he'd walk away again. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Didn't you just learn your lesson?
Was it 2 years ago that he was in a skateboarding accident and then he had to come work for me?
Oh,
he was he hurt his leg skateboarding, and he was out in crutches and just limping around, and it still worked it.
He did.
And it still was walking around in the show, and then after the show, it's like, man, maybe I should have been, you know, maybe I should have taken a rest. I'm like, nah, it's the only good comic book show in the city. Let's go all out. No, he's actually really good with a crowd. You know, once you put him in front of a crowd and you tell him, hey, watch him. It's got like a very loyal, you know, very large, you know, dog. It's like, I will watch them. They are my crowd. They're stepping out of line. I will bite them.
He was great with the crowd control, but there was just moments where I'm like, no, come on, just stay here. Just stop looking at the pretty ladies. I understand.
No, that doesn't work.
That's most men's kryptonite is pretty ladies. We get distracted. I'll be honest.
He did really well when I was prodding him with a stick.
Like a real stick?
Well, there was one year I was working C2E2 with a cane. No, I was working C2E2 with a cane because I had hurt my back in a competition. I was fighting Muay Thai and I had got my back kicked out, and so I was working like a week before that had happened. I had worked PAX and then I came to C2E2 and I'm like, oh god, everything hurts. So I was working C2E2 with a cane. And yeah, that was one of the years I had Raul, and I was just poking him with a stick, like, stay here. Stop moving.
Stay. It doesn't work with that kid. He's just, in general, he's a very sweet kid, actually. Once you sit him down and once he's in his own thing, he's very functional. Him and his friend, who's actually doing MMA right now, you wouldn't, just sitting with those two, talking to them, you think, oh, look, these two are very nice, comic book geeks, and they just happen to be muscled up. No, they like to fight too. They're awesome that way. They're just, good sparring partner for a guy who's doing MMA, and then that's what he does.
I think. Well, no, I mean, I like I said, I have no problems with him. I like the kid. But he, the thing that people don't really get when it comes to like fighting and stuff like that, and like doing Muay Thai, when I was competitive Muay Thai fighter and stuff like that, people are like, "Oh, you're so violent." I'm like, "Well, no, actually, I'm quite a pacifist. I get all of my anger and frustration out by, doing, and then like if you talk to me in a normal conversation, I'm fairly normal."
Right.
Fairly. I mean.
No, I know.
What's normal?
Kind of like Pac-Man, it's still normal. I mean, I do martial arts. I still practice martial arts for a long time. So when I hear that when I see people like Pac-Man, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this guy. He's calm. Don't worry about him. Don't piss him off. He's not gonna fly off the handle. You just don't want to push him.
No.
And that's the thing.
That's how most people are, though. You shouldn't push people to that anger point. So, like, it takes but because you do things like fighting and martial arts and things like that, you find yourself you have a longer term of patience, because if you don't, you could seriously harm somebody if you get to that point where you're like, all right, everybody's gonna die now.
I don't want everyone to die, though.
Oh, Chris.
That would make me sad inside. Some people can go away.
A lot of people can go away. No.
And we have set off Drasman's sinister side.
No, I have a bad sense of humor because I have a good memory, and then I just kind of sit there and think about things. I'm going, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? How do I fix this? What is that noise?
I don't
You guys
know.
hear that, or is it just
Yeah, I do too.
Hang on.
Girls of a Live show. I think it might be on Naki's side, because it goes away when she mutes. Just hold on a second, everyone watching live. We're troubleshooting. This will be cut out of the audio podcast. Maybe. Damn it, there's a lawnmower outside, she says.
How's that? Is it better?
That is better now.
Damn lawnmowers! The problems of living in a suburban neighborhood.
So we're just going to cut out that whole part where we're having the background noise, and then we are just going to go straight into News of the Week. Does that work for you guys?
Sure.
Okay.
Fine.
So I'm just going to say with, hey, how about let's go and blah, 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 blah. Just let me get the time codes here real quick.
News of the week.
So, guys, how about we just roll into our News of the Week?
Yay, news of the week.
News of the week.
That's what everyone likes, and we keep getting really bad about this. We're like almost 15 minutes into the show again before we get to our News of the Week.
Whiners.
We have to get our witty banter started, that's all.
I am filled with wittiness
Or
and
banter, I guess.
banterisms and poop fuel. Also known as coffee and granola.
So I'm going to throw it to Naki first.
Yay! I feel like I've been doing first for like a while now. Anyway.
Ladies first, right? I'm being polite.
Yeah. I'm a lady.
I'm told that at least.
I am told that I am a lady. I don't know if it's actually true, but I'm going by what I am being told. Anyways, so my news of the week is actually pretty cool news to me. I don't know if this would interest anybody else, but I'm kind of a book nerd. I really like, as well as my comic books, I like a lot of novels. One of my favorite ones that have lasted, God, I think I read it for the first time 11 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. It's a book called Good Omens. It's written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. It's about a world that's about to end, but an angel and a lackey for the devil don't actually want the world to end because they've gotten really comfortable on Earth and they think that it's fun. So they make a wager to see which side will kill the Antichrist first. It's a really cool little novel. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. It's very Neil Gaiman is very British. Terry Pratchett is very witty. You mix the two, the very dry humors together, and it's, to me, it's really funny, as well as you get that sci-fi feeling and it's Armageddon feeling. Like, it's just a book that I really, really enjoy.
You mean Armageddon, not like the movie, right?
No, God, no. Why would I bring that up?
Just making sure.
So if you have never read it, I highly recommend it. The cool news about this, though, is that BBC4, which is a radio station that frequents in doing live readings of books or scripted versions of the books, is doing a version of Good Omens that will last for 5 half-hour segments over the course of a week on, I think it's the week of Christmas. To me, this is super exciting, again, because it's one of my favorite books. They did a version of this a couple years ago, I think it was a couple years ago, of Neverwhere, which is another Neil Gaiman story. Neverwhere is one that has actually been adapted into a play as well. Another fun story. I don't know if you'd call Neil Gaiman books fun, but very British. I really like it a lot, and it's that one's available for download. The thing is that being over here in America, we don't always get these things right away, so I don't know when it will be available for us. Sometimes it's available right away, because I've had like David Tennant interviews and stuff like that available right away. But then I've also not had it available, so I can't actually tell you when that'll be available to us. But when it is, I highly recommend checking it out. They do some great work. They actually have an all-star cast lined up for this one, which I was surprised on. We have
The BBC's always had some of the great radio dramas and stuff like that. Like they did the Star Wars ones in the early '80s that were fantastic.
Yeah. We've got Josie Lawrence, who's in Skins.
Who did she play in Skins?
She was. What's her name? Hang on, now I gotta look that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen Skins, so it's all Greek to me.
If you like your scantily clad teens doing any number of criminal activities, you'd enjoy it.
Oh,
Okay.
You know what? You might better know her from the old Whose Line Is It Anyways? She's a mother in she's oh God, what's his name? Can't remember his name. Anyways, she's in one of the mothers in Skins. She was in Whose Line Is It Anyway? The old British version. If you've ever watched that with Colin and Ryan, they were in that one as well. I think they're the only ones that have been in all versions.
I think so too.
Whose Line. Anyways, she's a very funny lady. Colin Morgan is also in it. Patterson Joseph, Mark Heap, Peter Serafinowicz, who's in Guardians of the Galaxy recently.
Yeah, he was the guy that said, "What a bunch of a-holes."
Yes. Clive Russell, who's in Game of Thrones. Julia Deakin, Louise Brealey, she's in Sherlock. I believe she plays the woman in red. Simon Jones, Arshur Ali, Phil Davis, and Mark Benton are also in it. They said that they have even more of a cast lined up, but those are the ones that have just been announced. Anyway, they have a really cool team behind it. Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman are also involved in the script writing of it as well. So they're really, really excited. I'm really, really excited for this. I love their radio dramas. I'm really excited to see Good Omens come to life.
I love radio dramas. Period. I love the Shadow ones that Orson Scott Wells did, like in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Like my dad got me started on those when I was a kid, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is great!" Like old school radio is fantastic.
If you never listened to there was a cowboy. It was like a Shaolin cowboy kind of. I can't think of the name of it.
The Shaolin Cowboy by what do you call it? Dang it, Jeff Darrow.
Yeah, there was a radio drama version.
Really?
Oh. that I had listened to when I was a kid. But they're a lot of fun. If you've never listened to a radio drama, you know, they're not long-winded or anything like that. I highly recommend them. They're fun.
So
Listen
Naki,
to a
while
couple of the Shadows.
yeah, Shadow, they're great. Naki, while you were doing your news week and the occasional noises coming with the background, we've decided that noise is you turning into a robot, according to the chat room.
Yes,
Clone Freak said she is the Cylon. She will go to the resurrection ship.
I do have a metal back.
But you'll only resurrect if the ship's in range, so we better hope there's a ship in range if you get... That was me doing a cutting motion across the throat. I realize it doesn't really work well for an audio podcast. Sorry, guys.
Finger to the throat.
Think about it. You know, if that's accurate, that means that Naki is a model. That means that there's like hundreds that look like Naki, that act like Naki, and that's actually a terrifying thought for the future.
I'm kind of scared now.
But here's the thing. There's actually been proven that if you saw yourself walking down the street, you would not recognize yourself. So there you go.
How would you know?
Well, I mean, everybody has a different mental image of what they look like versus what they actually look like.
But a Cylon's not human.
I don't know if that
I'm
works.
human-ish.
I'm kind of human.
No.
I have enough metal parts in me. I don't know.
No.
I function.
No. No. I got nothing. I'm sorry. So I'll take a news story next then, and this is in that category of Netflix is paying a crap ton of money rather to get some of these new TV shows on there.
I heard that one of the shows that I'm looking forward to seeing is coming on there.
Well, there's a few different ones. Which one are you talking about?
Gotham.
That is one of the big ones. They have not announced the numbers on that, but boy, that's terrible.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of grating. It's
What
starting
is?
to get at me. Because we can hear in the background when things are rolling constantly. It sounds like the alien mothership or some sort of alien, you know, or somebody's killing dolphins in your backyard. It's just like,
Yeah, that's
you know,
what
like,
I
oh
don't
my
know what
God,
that is.
Flipper is dying.
I honestly have no idea what that is.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I don't even have my phone by me, so I don't know.
That's awesome.
Sorry, guys, we're on a pause a second. We'll get back into the story in one moment.
I can't hear it, so I don't know. I'll just mute myself.
Let me try that.
All right, we seem to have gotten it. All right, I'll start it back up in 1 sec. There's a lot of editing this week.
It's my fault.
Oh, no worries. So, like Naki said, one of the big stories that's coming out, or big shows rather, it's coming to Netflix, is they have signed a deal with Warner Brothers Worldwide Television Distribution to bring Gotham to Netflix. This is not immediate, bear in mind, but this is going to be, the way they describe it is each season of the series will be available to Netflix members following their linear broadcast beginning in 2015. So basically, after it airs, then it'll go to Netflix. That's awesome. I mean,
Is that what they did to Spartacus?
that's what they did with Spartacus, and they also did something similar with Breaking Bad for folks in England, I believe.
Because that was the one thing that changed Stars. Remember that was the reason Party Down ended, because for the longest time, Stars didn't have this big viewership. They didn't have this big block of people, and then Spartacus came out, and people heard about it, but then they were able to watch it and rewatch it and watch the hell out of it on Netflix. So
Right.
it just hyped the hell out of the show.
And it's something that AMC, point blank said, helped both Walking Dead and Breaking Bad, the fact that they put the old seasons on there, and people could go and marathon through them before the next season began, and they would pick up so many new viewers that way. Netflix is becoming a very powerful tool, and people are starting to realize that, and now they're getting their money for it, though, too.
That's fine, man.
Because they're also doing it with, this is the story that I originally saw on this, is they've also picked up the Blacklist to stream. They'll be the only site that has the Blacklist available for streaming. And Season 1 should be hitting it soon. I can't remember the date. September 7th, Blacklist will be on Netflix, so I believe it's already up there then. Yeah,
Awesome.
Today you can start watching the Blacklist on Netflix, but the ridiculous fact is how much they paid per episode. Did you guys hear how much they're paying per episode?
I think we talked a little bit about that last week, but
Did
I'm
we? I
so
can't remember.
excited.
Yeah, it's about $2 million an episode, which is the most they've ever paid per episode. But it's a friggin' fantastic show, and I like seeing Netflix throw their money around to make themselves continue to be relevant. This is good news for all of us who want to be able to watch what we want, when we want, however we want, pretty much.
Well, in
So,
general,
go
Netflix
Netflix.
has very good stuff. Did
I'm
you
sorry?
guys watch The Machine? I just watched The Machine last night on Netflix. It's actually a really good British movie. It's kind of like if somebody had taken Ghost in the Shell ideas and put it in a British film. It's very quick. It doesn't try to build suspense. It just crazy shit keeps happening, and you just kind of along for the ride. It's kind of good. It's just good to watch. It's an hour and a half, and it didn't feel long at all.
Hmm.
Uh,
It's on
that,
the
I
list then.
I actually watched that one recently. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I like that one. This past week I watched The Devil's Carnival. I don't know if you've ever watched Repo the Genetic Opera, but it's done by the same people. Um, it's a very campy musical slash horror film. Devil's Opera is or the Devil's Carnival, not opera. The Devil's Carnival is about three people who die various ways. They're sent to this carnival, and they live through Aesop's fables to see if they go to heaven or hell. And
Hmm.
it's only an hour long. It's on Netflix as well. If you like that, you might like Repo the Genetic Opera. Again, it's campy. Paris Hilton's in Repo, um, along with Anthony Stewart Head from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Um,
And
but
what was the Merlin show too that's been on? He was in that too.
yep. Um, the fun thing about Paris Hilton being in Repo the Genetic Opera is you get to watch her face fall off. So good times.
Nice.
Oh man, that's awesome. Sorry, I shouldn't have enjoyed that as much.
But you do, because you're just kind of like good.
Well, you know what? I'll give this to her. You know, it's an interesting thing that somebody can use that much of something that's actually kind of a shameful thing to have out there, and you know, sex videos just kept being the thing and the thing. I'm waiting for the next one. I really am, because I think that there's gonna be another celebrity thing, and it's not just gonna be pictures. It's not just gonna be, ooh, this is what I had. No, this is just some. There's gonna be another genuine thing that it's gonna catch us off guard. It's just gonna push the boundaries, and that's just my take on the state of media as a whole. I mean,
Well, I mean, I thought so interesting thing about the fappening thing that happened this past
right.
couple of weeks was that like everybody started to realize that we don't really give celebrities privacy and stuff like that, and this was a sex crime, and it was really interesting the conversations. But I was like thinking about it, I'm like, why didn't we talk about this with all the other celebrities that happened before this? Like we had the Paris Hilton sex tape that was, well, I mean, she eventually just started banking off of it, but she started off as a leaked tape. Kim Kardashian had one. Um, Hulk Hogan had one. Ugh.
You actually watch Hulk Hogan's?
No,
Okay, good. I was gonna be like, oh, why?
I'm
Why?
I'm just saying that these existed because of people leaking these videos and pictures and stuff like that. And I'm like, why did it take this long for us to talk about it? Because this has
I
been
go back
happening for years before
I
anybody
go
said
back
anything.
to context, content, and tone. The thing about the videotapes, and whenever you tape somebody doing certain things, you kind of have an awareness of it. You kind of have this idea where it's alive. It has this idea that you have to consent to it. A picture, it can be a very fleeting thing. It could also be a very private thing versus a video. A picture, you could have two or three pictures and it could be taken out of context, or it could be something that you're just meant to take away. A video, you go back and it's this gratuitous thing where you want to watch it. Like those videos were made with an intent that somebody was either going to enjoy them or they were having fun. The whole, I mean, and let's not, I don't want to give you a play-by-play of the Paris Hilton tape, but I found it interesting to a certain point, and actually a little sad because this you could see that this guy was very pro in his mannerism, saying, "Hey, do this for me," and she's like, "No," I was like, "This is supposed to be us having sexy time, not you trying to make porn with me." And that was why I found it a little sad, and I was like, "All right, this thing's off for me."
But
Kim Kardashian?
wasn't she just 18 in that video though too? Like,
Yeah,
hadn't she just turned 18? So like, think about how smart you are when you're 18. You're not. You're really dumb.
And that's why I like 18-year-olds.
All right. Well,
sorry.
Jasmine just nullified my point. Bye.
Well, taking us back a little bit to the fappening, I think it's interesting from this perspective that everyone at first was trying to blame Apple, that it's all Apple's fault. It's more and more coming out as more of a phishing thing. People went out there and kind of tricked them into giving their passwords. It wasn't Apple's fault, so it's one of the simplest ways to obtain an account is phishing, and this is what a bunch of people fell for. It sucks.
You know what? I think also there's a point where those videos, somebody actually had to physically retrieve it from where they were at.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. The fappening is like all of us have embarrassing pictures, embarrassing files, have done stupid things online. And unlike you guys, or even me at this point, we're not choosing to put it out there on the internet for people to look at. People thought, hey, I left it in my email where it's supposed to be safe. Only the NSA can get to that thing.
Well, my stuff is in private. It's all out there. No, I'm just kidding. All of my stuff is private, and you can't find it. Haha, bye.
I know, Naki. I know. We all know. We've all seen
Damn
it.
it!
We've all seen it. What do you want from me? I mean, it was like,
yeah, I was gonna say.
I can tell you, it's good. It's good.
I can't say anything because I did Rocky Horror, so I worked at nude colonies, so whatever.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You seriously though, you can't find anything on me. Don't even start.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I'm looking now. It's on like Donkey Kong.
I can't mute myself. Why can't I mute myself? Okay, there we go.
No, but I think Chris has a point where, bringing it back to the happening, I didn't want to watch it personally, not because I didn't think Jennifer Lawrence is not sexy, but I think that there's plenty of people out there on the internet who want attention, who want you to see them, that I don't need to see how Jennifer Lawrence looks like. I don't need to invade her privacy to do that. You're right, it is kind of a sex crime. It's a little creepier even because, it's like, if this were made for me, I wouldn't want you to look at it,
Well, I mean, the thing is and boyfriend had brought this up to me as a point too, is that like, even if she, if she took those pictures with intent, which I'm guessing she did, because if you looked at some of them, and I didn't even choose to look at them, they just popped up in my feed, which was awkward and weird. But anyways, so like, if you see these pictures, they're posed. She took them with somebody else in the room holding the camera for her. But here's the thing: is that in that type of like lifestyle, you're constantly on the road. You're in a long distance relationship. Sexy pictures are going to happen.
Right.
That's just what it is. You can't see somebody for 2-3 months at a time. Sexy pictures are going to happen, and she took those for intent for somebody specifically. She didn't take them for the world to be seen. So. I mean, and I think that's a lot of the pictures that I only saw the like couple like Jennifer Lawrence ones because again they popped up in my feed. I didn't search that one out. I don't believe in invading people's privacy like that. And they're like, well, she's such a role model, blah blah blah. I'm like, she didn't choose this.
Well, even if, and this is actually something we should kind of address. I was like, people have sex, and if she's a role model and she's doing this with her partner, guess what? That's healthy, that's normal, and that's kind of expected. Like you said, people are these are people that live on the road and are separated from one another, and that's kind of what I was saying with my comment is like, yeah, if I was her boyfriend, I would be upset, understandably so, because this is meant for me. I didn't share this. This is for me. That was me being very, very, egocentric and very, very much selfish. This was meant for that dude. We should just high five that dude. Where is that dude? Seriously, we should find him and high five him.
It's like, good for you, dude. Good for you.
Yeah. Hell yes. I would want to get a picture from my significant other instead of me having to take him while she's asleep.
I'm pretty positive that she would prefer you not take it of her while she's asleep. I mean, Nobody see like you watch those movies and they're like sleeping all like cute and shit, and I'm like,
No.
yeah, I wake up, I look like a lion. So I mean,
There's drool
fully
on the
awake.
pillow. It's like, no, it's just...
There's drool, there's snoring, there's talking. I mean, this is just shit that happens while you're sleeping. There's oh my god, the farting.
Nothing
Oh,
good
God.
happens when one's asleep, really.
Oh.
It's just you're dead until you wake up. That's what sleeping is. It's not cute.
No. It's like women have mastered it when they can sleep cute. It was like I went on a road trip with some people, and then this girl on the bus, and she just looked adorable, like an angel sleeping. I was like, I think she's pretending to sleep.
You can't be real. You can't be real. People don't sleep cute.
You ever meet those people that are so good looking that you're like, oh, okay, I'm out of the running. I'm not just gonna be friends with them. Let's just be cool with you.
Dude, that's like half the people I work with. Because
No.
it's like part of our job that we have to be physically fit because we work at a fucking gym. So you get that aspect, and then you get all the hot moms because you're working for the rich gym. So these are people who can afford to go out and like get like tummy tucks right after they give birth. So, I mean, you get all the hot moms plus the fact that you work at a gym. So it is what it is. You're just surrounded by pretty people all the time, and you're like, oh, I'm fat.
Oh, pretty people are pretty.
Pretty people are pretty. I am out of the running for, well, not that I'm in the running anyways. I have a boyfriend, but still, not the point.
Talking about beautiful people, The Rock has just been chosen to be
Nice segue.
just announced. Well, he is a beautiful, beautiful man. I am not afraid to say that. He's got muscles. If I was gonna go gay, I'd like to be the pretty one in the relationship. But he is a manly, manly man. The Rock has just announced that he's gonna be playing Black Adam in the next Shazam movie. I'm very psyched about that. Think about it. The Rock is this big badass. He plays Egyptian really well, like he did in The Scorpion King. He doesn't CGI well, but he's an amazing character and larger than life. What I'm kind of excited about is who's gonna play Shazam. Who's gonna play this mighty mortal that's gonna step up to The Rock? Because let's face it, that's gonna be epic.
Yeah, they're gonna have someone that's got some screen presence to be opposite The Rock.
But isn't Shazam a kid that like turns into a superhero?
Well, Billy Batson is a kid, but he's a kid in the body of an adult basically when he's Shazam.
Yeah, it's kind of like Prime, like the original version of Prime. Just
I don't know who
interesting.
I'm trying, like, I really enjoy The Rock, like I've said many times before. I joined Instagram because, I've joined it for two reasons. One, because boyfriend told me to. Second was because The Rock's Instagram feed is amazing. Like, this week he was yelling at a turtle. Who doesn't want to watch The Rock yell at a turtle?
And you also get to see his epic cheat days, too, which are fantastic.
Oh my god, that man consumes so many pancakes.
That's what I'm saying.
4 pizzas and a pound of pancakes, and that's nothing to him. It's just breakfast.
It's like the worst kept rumor in the world that he was going to be Black Adam because everyone's been saying this for how long, and he teased it months ago, and I'm just happy it's finally out there because it's positive press on a DC movie because I know I'm fairly negative on them, but this is one thing that's got me excited. I'm like, oh, yes, it's The Rock!
Yeah.
And everybody loves The Rock. I don't know anybody who's like, oh man, The Rock is in this movie, I'm not going to go see it. I've never heard anybody say that ever.
I don't want to see a movie because The Rock's in it then, just to spite you.
I'm going to kick you in the head.
You can't kick me in the head. I'm all the way over here.
But that's just over there. I can get over there. It's
Over
not
where?
like it's
I watched
There.
the Fast and the Furious, the one with the Rocks in it, just to watch the Rock, and Vin Diesel have that, scene.
Man, The Rock and Vin Diesel beating the crap out of each other was awesome in that movie.
I've seen every Fast and the Furious movie. I love those movies, except for
So-
2. 2 is terrible. But
That's Too Fast, Too Furious.
yes, that was not good, and I don't think it's even considered canon in the series anymore. I think they're just like, yeah, Tyrese was here at one point. That's cool, right? Right, there we go. So, but I love Fast and Furious. They're fun popcorn movies.
It's funny you should mention that because I just bought one that I was missing for $5.
Yay! $5.
They're just fun. I don't give a crap movies because you don't have to pay a bunch of attention. You can just have fun. There's flashy cars and explosions. It's like a Michael Bay film before they became Michael Bay films, if that makes sense.
They're good.
Good.
As opposed to Michael Bay movies. They're good. Mostly,
You know what?
okay, honestly, let's just say it for real though. Vin Diesel is amazing in those movies,
Yeah.
and
It's because he's Groot.
he's also the pacifier. If you've never seen that movie's really funny.
You know what? I actually like Vin Diesel a lot ever since he did the voice for the Iron Giant. He was
Yeah.
the voice. Yeah, he's done that big, voice actor thing. And let's face it, the Riddick movies were actually really good. When you think about it, it's a good slasher film. They build suspense. They kind of have the same feel that the original Alien had, where there's a monster in the darkness. There's people that are just as scary as the monster that's out there, and they happen to be in the light with you. So in general, I don't see why people ever made fun of Vin Diesel. Plus, he's muscled up. You don't want to make fun of that guy.
Yeah.
I'm actually, as I don't have my camera on, I'm actually doing little squee dances because I love the Riddick movies. I haven't seen the latest one, but I know that he pocketed that one. He did everything himself because he wants Riddick to live on. And he wants to continue doing these movies because he loves that character so much. And I really enjoy Pitch Black and all of those movies. I think they were fun, and they're very sci-fi, and it's the stuff that I love to watch. Oh God, I just lost everything. Huh?
Naki's breaking stuff again. She got distracted talking about Vin Diesel, and is it DJ
Slid
time?
right out of the chair. Slid right out of the chair.
No, my headphones just popped off my ears. That's how excited I got.
Wow.
And you can't hand check me, haha, bitches.
I could turn your camera on if you want.
No! Why would you do that?
I'm just saying I have that power. I can give Draftsman that power too if you want. We can both just screw with you and randomly turn your camera off and on.
No, let's give her some privacy.
That's a good
turning
point.
the camera towards my backpack and you can't see nothing.
All right.
I wasn't actually going to do it, you know. I mean, I'm not that big a douche.
Chris, don't lie. You are.
I might. I don't know. It depends on how bored I am.
Did you see? There was somebody posted that they would want to see Chris Pratt play Goldbuster, and then they would want to see the Blue Beetle be played by Adam Scott, and then do a body comedy. I saw that on Facebook, and one of I think it was Chris Hansen, one of the C2E2 guys, who posted that, and I'm like, he said, in an alternate universe where DC movies don't suck, I would love to see that. I'm like, yeah, hell yes. I want to see Chris Pratt do more action movies, do more superhero action movies.
I'm glad you brought Ghostbusters up for a sec, because I forgot. It's the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters, so you can go see it at select theaters right now.
Cool.
I meant to go and do that last weekend, and then I forgot, and I might have to go today because I see there's a showing at 4:30 or 7, because I just Googled Ghostbusters, because there's a news story I was looking for, and it reminded me. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Bill Murray, he gave a thumbs up to an idea of doing an all-female Ghostbusters movie.
Can I audition for that?
Yeah. He said, quote, "It sounds great to me. It sounds as good as any other. There are a lot of women who would scare off any kind of vapor. No, it's a grand idea. I don't know who they're talking about, but it's a good idea. I would watch it."
Me.
And this is Bill Murray, who can't seem to get too excited about much Ghostbusters right now. So, do it. Give us more Ghostbusters, please. Please? Pretty please?
If you haven't been reading the Ghostbusters comic book, All New Ghostbusters, it's actually a lot of fun, and then you can see your female Ghostbusters cast in it too.
I like ghosts.
Very reminiscent to the 80s stuff, which they actually are doing a lot of really good throwback comics that are being redone. Like I said, I've said many times, the new Turtles comic is great. The Ghostbusters comic is great. They've been doing new Godzilla stuff. If you haven't read any of it, it's a lot of fun. It's just, I wouldn't No, I don't want to say that. If you find it on sale on Comixology, it's worth the pickup.
Cool.
There's been all sorts of stuff on sale on Comixology. I got to get caught up.
I gotta get caught up in the Humble Bundles that I bought.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't know if anybody follows my Instagram feed, but if you do, a couple weeks ago I posted a picture of my comic book stack that I still haven't read, and it's only grown since then.
I got a new one to add for you, Naki. Well, you don't have to read it right away, but Arrow 2.5, they just started it. It's the gap between Season 2 and 3 of Arrow.
Alright, well, let me finish Season 2 first. I've only
Season
watched
2 hits
a couple
Netflix
episodes.
next weekend.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm going to marathon.
I've got, my girlfriend has just started on Arrow, and she wants to marathon through so she can start watching Season 3.
Well, she's going to have to marathon the first 11 terrible episodes of that show first.
I told her the first few were a little rough, but she's been watching Supernatural since day one, and I'm sure they had some rough episodes in the beginning, too. And that's, what, 11 seasons in?
That's another show that I need to decide if I'm going to watch or not, because I should start watching it soon.
Everyone says it's good, but meh.
I haven't started it yet. It seems like something that I would be into, but I haven't started it. It just seems like it's almost daunting that it's 11. And actually it is. It's daunting that it's 11 seasons and not done yet. So I'm like,
you know what I'm excited about talking about Supernatural stuff? I want to see more Constantine. That's what I'm excited about. I want to see that. Like, never mind the fact that I have a major problem with David S. Goyer, and I want Naki to whip him severely and repeatedly. And you know, I'm gonna make a poster with that someday. I'm gonna find a picture of Nike and then have her whipping a Goyer fanboy.
I like this. We can make prints.
We should. And then when you guys get a table at a Comic-Con, you guys can go, hey, Naki can sign it for you, or she can whip you. Either or.
Oh, that reminds me that I need to ask you all about Windy City Con and if anybody's going and if it would be worth looking into.
I don't even know what that is.
It's coming up in November, I believe.
Windy City Con?
Yeah.
I thought that last one I went to was way back before C2E2 started, and that was fun. They set it up. They had the guy from Elephant Man, Starkin. He was a really nice guy. They had a couple of creators. They had Francesco. They had a couple of. It was a small show, but it was mostly an artist alley. Scotty Young was there. He gave a talk. It was lots of fun, and the way it was set up, it felt like they cared about the fans. I don't know. I haven't heard that they set up a show in the last couple of years.
Yeah, Naki, their last tweet was in June 2011, and their website doesn't work.
Yeah.
Hang on. One of my friends sent me the info and asked if ATGN was coming. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. So I meant to look into it, and then I promptly forgot because that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm Googling right now, and you can find their Twitter, which, like I said, hasn't updated since 2011, and then the website in there, WindyCityComicCon.com, just doesn't load.
Let me go find the info. Hang on.
This is what we do live on the air, folks.
This is the point where I start researching stuff. Hey, remember when I said that Naki was less ladylike than Margaret Cho? I take that back. I do. I think Naki is a little bit more ladylike than Margaret Cho because I saw her do the ice bucket challenge. It's not an ice bucket. It's an ice going into something, but not a bucket. I'm like, and don't get me wrong. I find it's not that I dislike her comedy or I disrespect her. In fact, I liked her since she did that show All American Girl back in the 90s. I watched it and I was like, this is such a weird fucking thing. Why is this woman on television? And then I found out that she's this weirdo comedian who's wonderful and beautiful and all tatted up now. I'm like, that's awesome. But she's not ladylike.
So, based off my extensive Googling, maybe they were referring to the Windy City Pulp and Paper Convention.
Oh. When is it?
April 17th through 19th, celebrating the 125th birthday of H.P. Lovecraft. Perhaps that was what it was.
Well, this is what I got. The message that she sent me, it's not Windy City Con, it's just called WindyCon.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The message says, not sure if this would be up ATGN Group Alley, but WindyCon will be in November, and didn't know if you'd like me to check up with programming to see if it's too late to add a table for you or something. It's a pretty nice convention at the Westin in Lombard if you're up for it. Just figured I'd put it up there.
Yeah, I see the link for it right now. I just popped it open. November 14th through 16th in Illinois.
So, if that's a thing, if anybody's been to it or has any interest in, us being there, let me know. I could be there Friday or Saturday and Sunday. Probably even do a live show on Sunday. But I don't know if that's a thing. If people go to it, they'll show up.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
I don't either. That was the message that I got. But yeah, if anybody's interested, if anybody's been to it, send me a message, because I know that we've got Clone Freak in the chat room, and Draftsman is in the chat room and online. Weird. Anyways.
No, I was trying to see if I could do two things at once, but no, I can't.
It's multitasking at a weird...
It's hard. But if, for any of our downloaded listeners or whatever, let me know if I should look into it, if it's something that you'd be at, if anybody else will be at. I'll check it out. I like doing things like that.
You're in charge, then.
Yay! In charge is
God,
terrifying.
Naki's in charge because I don't want to do it.
Everybody dies! Everybody dies!
You know what? I'll honestly tell you guys, encourage people to go to their local shows when they get a chance. It really hypes up the community, and it really is. It's kind of nice to not have to deal with like 10,000 people and like maybe go see one of the writers or the creator of something.
Oh, yeah.
And do that. It's really nice and mellow to go to a small show and kind of dig it. And that way you get to see who's around in the community. You, believe it or not, you start to recognize people after a while. You're going, oh, you're cool. You're not. I know you. You're that dick from the comic book show. But it's really lots of fun. And honestly, that's the way shows grow to be big, That's how... And that's just me wanting to take an axe to San Diego and kind of split them up into a smaller show and have them ship some of the fun out into the boonies, come out,
No, I agree with that.
Other shows.
I would love to do San Diego sometime, but I don't think I could handle the crush of it. That's why I like the smaller, the more local shows, because you can go and you can actually talk to people for a while and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm all about local shows. All about it.
So everybody come out to Lombard. I'll message the girl and I'll see if I can set up a table. If not a table, then I'll just be around handing out flyers or something, I guess. I should make a new logo for us without copyrighted characters on it.
That might be a swell idea eventually.
I don't know how to draw. Let's just be real here. I'm really good at making other people's characters look chibi, and that's about it.
Look, not knowing how to draw has not stopped many artists from trying to make a career out of tracing. It hasn't.
That is also true.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of people who got busted for tracing, and now they can't set face in the industry anymore. Because I've accidentally bought some of that work before, and I felt cheated.
Like, for example, a whole controversy between David Mack and Adam Hughes. And not to drop any names, but they have such a different tone and context. I don't see how that one using the reference will hurt the other. And honestly, it's such a different thing, I don't encourage it. I don't think you should do it. I think comic book art has the beauty of being spontaneous and being kind of interesting and being your take on the universe,
Right. I don't disagree, but now I'm looking at the time, and we are running low on time, so we should probably start wrapping up in our traditional way. We'll just share what we've been getting into, what we are getting into, and because I just like to screw with Naki, ladies first again, Naki, you can go first.
God damn it, I was muted.
I know you are.
What I'm getting into, like I said, this week I watched the movie called Devil's Carnival. It's on Netflix. If you like Repo the Genetic Opera, it's like almost a better version. Repo is very campy, but there's a lot of plot holes and stuff like that in there. Devil's Carnival has a better flow. I actually like the music a little bit better from Repo than Devil's Carnival, but still fun. On top of that, I finished Cold Days from the Dresden Files, and I am now reading Skin Game, which is the final, well, not the final book, but it's the last book published. So after that, I will be reading something else, maybe. We'll see how my time thing goes. I'm also working really hard in chemistry. Part of our pre-show today, we were talking about terrible science professors and things like that. And I'm currently dealing with one, so if you have any tips on getting through basic chemistry, I will appreciate that. I'm working mostly with conversions and not trying to cross my eyes too badly looking at them. Other than that, that's my life. Is I go to school for the morning, and then I come home and I go to work for the night, and that is my life. Hooray!
That sounds exciting. I'm going to toss to our guest then, Enrique, the draftsman. What have you been getting into? What are you getting into?
What have I been getting into? I'm trying to read the 80s run of Teen Titans when they restarted and rebooted the show.
Nice.
Rebooted the comic book, and they introduced Slade Wilson in one of the episodes, in like the third issue or second or third issue of the Teen Titans. It's kind of interesting. It's really nice seeing George Perez's artwork back in the day, and kind of the way that the whole story was set up. And then, so I've been kind of rereading that because I like the Teen Titans and the cartoon. I liked Young Justice, even though a lot of people hated it or disliked it at the beginning. The second season was very good. And I just kind of wanted to see where this whole teen superhero thing started, and I picked a reboot to kind of start reading through that, so that's what I've been reading. Other than that, watching Netflix, like I said, The Machine, watch it. It's interesting. It's nice. It's not for people who are not into Doctor Who. It's British sci-fi. That's really hard sci-fi. It's really good. It doesn't treat you like you're an idiot. It shows you one thing after another and one thing after another. It's a good show.
That's cool.
Other than that, I work a lot too. So I work.
Yeah.
I go to the gym. Yes, I go to the gym. No, and yeah, that's about it.
So I'll go next myself. Still finishing up my run through on Chuck on Netflix, but I have started rewatching Arrow on there. And God, what's the other stuff? Oh, I started playing the new Diablo 3 expansion on my Xbox One, and it's surprisingly good. I forgot how much I missed Diablo 3. It feels very strange to play Diablo on a console, though. That being said, it's really fun, and I know if Ada ever hears this, he'll mock me mercilessly because I'm playing that on a console, but well worth trying out, especially if you love the Diablo games. And I am reading a few books. I'm way behind, but the last stuff I read was Batman Beyond 2.0. They just finished up a really good arc, and Arrow 2.5, all digital books. You should take a look if you've enjoyed either of those television shows because they're freaking awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. But unless anyone has any closing thoughts, anything like that, I guess we should wrap up the show. Anyone got anything else?
Draftsman smells.
That's not very nice.
I'm just kidding.
No, I don't. No, I mean.
It smells of sunflowers and sunshine.
And puppy dogs.
I am the samurai that smells of sunflower seeds. That's me. The entire Samurai Champloo run was based over my time in Japan. No. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for letting me come in, and I like the fact that I got to touch up on the things that I wanted to talk about. Vin Diesel, The Rock, Paris Hilton, nudity, and the fact that I like ass.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good combination of topics, hasn't it?
Yes. I didn't talk about the Kim Kardashian sex tape because that particularly happened. I liked it. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, oh.
So much ass in that tape. So much ass.
But so it's good. It's so good. That's why it's such a great shame of mine.
I don't think we can beat that as an ending point, guys. So don't forget, you can listen to us every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and all those other times at live.atgnpodcast.com. And feel free to join in the chat room because I'm sure Dressman will tell you about his love of that ass.
Yes.
Ass.
So a big thank you to Enrique, the draftsman, for joining us today. It's really fun to put a face with a name from our chat room. And if you too would like to be part of ATGN, just let us know. We're always looking for people to join us. And if you're bummed because Bachman wasn't here this week and he's the reason you watched the show, well, he's back next week, so you can keep watching the show. Don't worry. And Naki and I will probably be here too.
I wish we could get, an exit song of being either Baby Got Back or Anaconda by Nicki Minaj.
I'll look and see if I can find some free versions of that I'm allowed to use, and I'll try that for this week. But that's going to wrap us up for episode 123, and we will see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big.
Oh, yeah.